All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. That's all praise to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. It's the brother Aliyah from Angels of Yahweh. Right, I want to briefly touch on this store shelves could be empty in 2 weeks, situation or whatever. Right? It says warning by Walmart, Target, and Home Depot. So like CEOs to Trump, right? So you got these CEOs of major, companies or whatever, like Walmart and Target, ultimately warning Trump that these tariffs, could cause empty shelves just within 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks go past like nothing, right? Months go past like nothing at this point, right? So 2 weeks it's gonna feel like a day just passed, and damn 2 weeks gonna be, done creeped up, right? So, ultimately this is coming from the tariffs that you got a trade war with China and America right now, right? So ultimately these companies they're just getting rid of Chinese goods, right? Because the prices will go up, too high for them to even sell it, right? To even sell those items. And it says, I'm going to read it again, store shelves could be empty in 2 weeks. Now, certain precepts should come to mind. All right, let's go to the book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 22. Right, and it reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right? So, Lord willing, the storehouses actually be found empty. Right? Because we want all hell to break loose. We don't want America to continue on. We don't want Babylon the Great to continue to prosper. Right? We need shelves to go empty. Right? Because that's just, that's one step closer to us getting the hell up out of here, right? And that's the spirit all of us should be in, right? You should want all hell to break loose, right? You shouldn't be too busy focused on trying to prosper in America, right? Let's go back to this source or whatever, right? It says, in a chilling and stark reminder of the pandemic, right? Now, 2020 with the pandemic, right? Everybody's damn rushing to the stores, stocking up on food, right? But I keep hearing, like the news channels and whatever say they saying this is gonna be worse than the pandemic, right? The stock market might crash. They talking about a recession, right? Lord willing, all those things happen, right? And it says, so like, where was I at? Top CEOs warned Trump in a White House meeting this week that supply chains could freeze up again if he doesn't back off his tariff wars. Slocky, if he doesn't back off his trade war tariffs immediately, right? And then you see empty shelves, right? And what you think people gonna start doing when these shelves start to get empty? All right, let's go to the book of Second Esdras, right? Chapter 2, verse, Second Esdras, chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, right? Victuals, that's, another word for food, right? That they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, right? So, we in those times, prices rising, right? Famines in diverse places, like Matthew the 24th chapter, right? And it's great confusion, right? Nobody know what the hell going on, They just in the folly, right? In the madness. It's called Babylon the Great for a reason, Babylon means confusion, right? Let's go to the next verse. It says, 2nd Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Right? So I'm not saying in 2 weeks, famine gonna kick off for sure over here in America, but Lord willing it does, right? We pray that it do. All right, let's go to the book of Lamentations. Because the Lord said it's better to die by the sword, than to die of hunger, right? It's Lamentations 4:9, right? And that's to tell you how bad starving to death is, Because when you starving to death, your inside, it's like your body is eating itself, right? From the inside, Nobody will want to starve to death. You just slowly wasting away. It's different stages to it, right? You start, getting down delusional and angry, right? Even that damn commercial, you're not yourself when you're hungry, right? I believe that's what they say, right? Everybody start acting a little different when they ain't eat, So dying from hunger, that's one of the worst deaths possible, right? It's Lamentations 4:9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, right? So the Lord said it's better to die by the sword. What's the modern day sword? A gun, right? So it's better to get put to death by a gun than to starve to death, And that's what's coming to the earth, famine. A lot of people going to be starving to death, right? And it says, for these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field, right? So people going to be out, trying to find what they can, right? But they ain't going to be able to find nothing. Let's go back. Read this again. 2nd Ezra 16:22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, right? So even if you do find some food, right? And this is for, the wicked Israelites out there in the other nations, right? Even if they do find some damn food, right? If they about to die of hunger, they may come across a damn, a truck full of damn fruits or whatever, right? They may be eating that, and then you have somebody else pull up. Esau may pull up, a group of Edomites with they damn AR-15s or whatnot. They gonna put you to death. The Lord said if you escape the famine, you gonna die by the sword, right? So there's no getting away from the death and destruction that's coming, right? It's no getting away. Let's go back to this article. So like it's taking a minute to load. Right, and China said they're not backing down from Trump's tariffs. They said they ain't been having talks. Trump keeps saying, they've been having talks with China. America been having talks with China. China said that's a lie, right? Let's read some more of this article. It says, I think this is where we left off. As reported in an article in Axios, this will prompt empty store shelves again if he doesn't rein in his harsh tariff plans and stop trying to meddle with the Federal Reserve. They warned that if he doesn't reverse his financial, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, out of touch policies, prices will go up in as soon as 2 weeks, right? So in 2 weeks, all hell could break loose, right? For the lack of bread, right? For the lack of water, for the lack of odor, right? If people can't clean themselves, they'll go nuts, right? You know, just because they smell bad. These people ain't ready for what's to come. You know, these people can't even they go down 10 hours without eating and they angry, right? You know, these people, they're not ready for Jacob's trouble at all. So, like, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 19, right? And it reads, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation," right? So, for the lack of bread. Now, that's not just saying, literal bread, like, your damn loaves of bread that you got in your cabinets or whatever. That's talking about any type of food, even drink, right? Anything that somebody wants, but chiefly food, right? So, that this could be what we coming into within 2 weeks, right? Lord willing, the shelves start, getting empty, right? Because we want all hell to break loose. You shouldn't want America to continue to prosper, right? Every day you should be looking at the prophecies, right? Continuously watching. We want to see our enemies fall, right? We ready for Yahweh Shah to come back and put all the heathen into subjection, right? So I'm gonna read this again. 2nd Esdras 15:19. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right, so your damn neighbor, you Jakes knew for like 7 years. You got this damn Edomite neighbor, right? You say not all white people bad. This been my neighbor for about 7 to 8 years, and we kind of cool or whatever, right? He a cool white man, right? That's what you say. But it says, your neighbor ain't gonna show you no pity. He gonna damn raid your house because he gotta feed his, right? He gotta eat. He ain't gonna give a damn about that. He ain't gonna give a damn that y'all been neighbors for 8 years, right? He gotta feed his, and that's why it's important. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 33:6. This is why it's important to know the precepts and the times we coming into. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure," right? So if you got wisdom and knowledge of the precepts, right, you would know not to trust your enemy when all hell break loose. I know I don't give a damn how long I knew my neighbors, right? I know when all hell break loose, Esau, he gonna be he gonna be trying to get you. Right? And that goes for, even the wicked Jakes and E's in the world, right? They gonna be trying to feed they self and theirs. So that's why the Lord said wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength and salvation. Of salvation. All right, let's go back to this article. Salaki. All right, where was we at? It says the pandemic was a natural disaster that decimated America and caught most of the world by surprise. This latest crisis is entirely an artificial product of Trump's personal trade war with the world. He announced it proudly on April 2nd, calling it Liberation Day. His primary target was China, but he also announced higher tariffs on approximately 60 countries. Terrorists, some only inhabited by penguins. Right? So this damn devil, he put terrorists on damn places only inhabited by penguins. Right? So this, he really trying to make America great again. You know, he thinks that America is going to go on forever. Let's get the book of Psalms. Psalms 49 and 11. That's what it is. All right. This the book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse number 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, right? You know, so damn Trump, he really believes that America is going to be a dwelling place forever, right? From generation to the next, right? You know, he thinks that he really going to make America great again, you know, right? And ultimately, the Lord, he got this man thinking that. Let's go to Proverbs 21. All right, same thing with the Chinese president. The Chinese president, we're going to get into that. All right, actually, let's get that first. All right, it says, China denies Trump's claim that they are holding daily terror talks. Because that's what Trump keeps saying. Right, if you're watching the prophecies, right, every time you get on YouTube, this devil Trump is saying America and China is going to come to a deal soon, right? And it's going to be good, right? That's what he keeps saying. But China keeps saying they haven't been holding talks, right? Trump is lying, right? And this is Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will, right? Hey, so ultimately, it's up to the Lord that, you know, Trump is putting tariffs on all these places, right? Chiefly China, a place he can't afford to put tariffs on. Because mostly everything we get over here in America is made in China, right? And he's hardening the president of China's heart because he ain't backing down. They ain't with Trump's games, right? You know, they sticking to these tariffs. And if 2 weeks pass, this could affect you in your life, right? Damn, all hell could break loose. They said the store sales gonna be empty within 2 weeks, right? If he don't lift these tariffs, you know. But, you know, I'm gonna get a closing precept. We should all be, you know, just examining these things. All right, let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 21. I don't know why I keep doing this. I could have just got it right there. So I can. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. Now, what's surfeiting? Surfeiting means, you know, doing the same thing over and over, right? You know, you're not really paying attention to what's going on, right? You got the same routine that you do every week. You know, you may I don't know, go to a damn party every weekend, right? You know, you in that pre-flood spirit, right? So you don't want to be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. Because we know America is on its last damn, you know, leg, right? It's finished. You know, we see all hell getting ready to break loose. You already got, right now, Israel and America, they're about to attack Iran soon, right? Because Iran been denying the nuclear talks, right? Trump claiming he having talks with them too. But every time I hear Iran, they say, you know, they ain't been talking to America, right? And they want nukes, right? And America ain't gonna stop them from having it. You know? Let's go to the next verse. So like it is, I don't know why it's be taking so long to load. Right, this is Luke 21:35. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the earth. Right? So as a trap, it's death and destruction gonna come. Right? Famine. Alright, because these people ain't paying attention to what's going on. Right? You know, they just worried about making it in America, right? So on and so forth. It says, verse 36, watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be found, Salaki, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? So you got to watch, right? You know, you should, I shouldn't even have to tell you what's going on. You know, you should be looking at these things yourself, right? And you got to pray, pray that you could be accounted worthy to make it out, the famine that's coming, the death and destruction that's coming to Babylon the Great, Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? And ultimately, if you up that 1/3, right, Lord willing, all the brothers that have been putting in the work and the sisters, right, the Lord will look out for us when all hell is breaking loose. Right, this is Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right. So when all hell breaking loose, right, we gonna be rejoicing, because we went out there every week trying to tell our people that death and destruction was coming, but guess what? They ain't give a damn, right? They just think we crazy, right? Nothing's ever bad gonna happen to America or in America, right? So on that day we gonna rejoice, right? That all hell is breaking loose, that it's a lack of bread, that the store shelves are suddenly coming up empty, right? And you should be happy. You should be happy on the possibility of all hell breaking loose soon, But, I'm going to end it off with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, right? Brothers and sisters need to be keeping watch, Again, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. I want to say Kwam Yasharala and Shalom.